Welcome everybody to today's episode of AJ's Yugioh. Happy Memorial Day. Hope you guys hopefully have off of work today or school or whatever you gotta do. Hopefully you're off. Joey came in and he decided he was going to help us today. Same with Yugi. Yugi's going to help us. And I already had Kaiba, but now we got them all. Kaiba, Yugi, Joey. They're all here to hang out. He's got his card, he's got his cards, he's got his cards. We all got cards. But we're gonna put these guys up here that can watch over. The Ogdoadic deck. Man, you have no idea. I have a lot of decks that are like, they're done, but I might not have like 3 rarities of the same card, so I'm waiting on one to show up and I don't want to use it. And then I go through and I look and I switch something. Like literally I had 4 different decks spread out all over the place trying to figure out what deck profile was going to be for today, and it was very chaotic. Hours later I ended up with my Ogdoadics. This is what we are going to go through today. Very quickly though, I want to open up these 2 OTS 15s just to see, you know, we do have Joey and Yugi and Kaiba, so in the name of Yugi and Kaiba, part of the cards, Joey as well. Bless these packs, man. See if we can get lucky and pull an ulti. They pulled Helki Fibrax right next to me in locals today. I have pulled everyone except for Helki Fibrax. Bam! Bam! Crossover with the weird mark on there. It's like my 2nd or 3rd one with that weird mark. And Armed Dragon. Try right and ooh. Take a token. I always love a good token. Tokens or Helki Fibrax. Or give me death. I forget what that's from. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and get our extra deck off of there. Okay, so for Ogdoadics, you really only run 1 of each of the big guys. So we have our 1 Overlord. He needs 3 tributes. What is beautiful about this deck is you just want everything in the graveyard. That reminds me, I forgot to put, I wanted to put hand destruction in here, so I'm sure there's a spot in here that I'll say, you know, pop this card out and put hand destruction in, or run it at 41, who really cares? But you want cards in the graveyard. That's what it's all about. So Overlord, you gotta tribute 3 to get it out there, but once while this card is face up on the field, quick effect, you can send all monsters from the field to the graveyard except face up monsters special summoned from the graveyard. It's pretty crazy because most of your monsters are coming from the graveyard anyway, so you know, if you know your opponent just special summoned everything from their extra deck, well, bam, this guy will ruin their day. And hey, he's got 31, not bad. We got the king. Not everybody runs the king. I run the king. You can tribute 2 to get this guy out. If your opponent adds a card or cards to their hand, except by drawing them or the damage step, you can send 1 random card from your hand to the graveyard, which is nice because maybe you got this guy in your hand. We'll pitch him, so then you can use this guy's effect. Random card. Then you can send 1 random card from their hand to the graveyard, so you make them discard 1. It's pretty nice. If a monster your opponent controls is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 light or dark reptile monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, except this one. And now the queen. She's the same as the king. 2 tributes. Special summon this card. This card is special summoned if a monster is special summoned from your opponent's graveyard, you can send one card they control to the graveyard. And you have cards in here that make your opponent, like, let them special summon. So as soon as they special summon, you could pick another one of their cards and get that one the hell out of there. So pretty nice. If they take the bait, good for them. Or actually good for you. If a monster is sent from your opponent's hand or deck to the graveyard, you can special summon one light or dark reptile monster from your graveyard. I mean, you got plenty of options, you know? Not to mention, you got these ones. You got the light and the dark level 8s here. These only require one tribute each. This card, you can tribute, special summon it. Then your opponent can add one monster from their graveyard to their hand. If this card is special summoned, you can target two of your banished monsters, including a reptile monster, return them to the graveyard. This one is, you can special tribute and then special summon this card, then your opponent can special summon one monster from their graveyard but negate its effects. If this card is special summoned, you can target one level 4 or lower Ogdoadic monster in your graveyard and special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field. So it'll be banished, but you banish a couple and Ogdoadic Dark will bring it back, or at least put it back in your graveyard. We run 3 Nunu. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, send one dark reptile monster from your deck to the graveyard. If you control no monsters or you control only Ogdoadic monsters, you can special summon this card from your graveyard but banish it when it leaves the field. Also, you cannot special summon monsters except reptiles while this card is face up in the monster zone. So pitch it, send another one, special summon it, and then most likely tribute it for one of these two, or if you got more than him, one of these two. If you got plenty, that one up there. You got 3 Naya. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, send one light reptile monster from your deck to the graveyard. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one Ogdoadic spell/trap from your deck to your hand. So he might not be able to bring himself out, but he'll get you a spell or trap put right into your hand. And then actually you could discard him to send a Nunu, and then Nunu could bring himself out too if you want to do it that way. Zoha, we run one of each of the one light and the one dark of the rares, both level 4s. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard or special summoned from the graveyard, you can activate this effect. Your opponent draws one card, and if they do, add one Ogdoadic monster from the deck to your hand. So, cool. Let them get a card. You get to add a monster to your hand, which, you know, most likely is probably going to be a Nunu or something like. You're not really going to add the big ones unless you have a reason for it. Like, I do run 2 trade-in, so I might do this just to get one of them to run trade-in so I could pitch them and trade in to draw 2. Now I got him in the graveyard. I got 2 extra cards in my hand. It just depends. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard, add this card to your hand. So it reoccurs itself. This one, however, if this card is sent to the graveyard or special summoned from the graveyard, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls and one monster in their graveyard with an equal or higher attack than that. Special summon the monster from the graveyard, and then if you do, send the other monster to the graveyard. So if this card is in your graveyard, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard, add this card back to your hand. Once again, it reoccurs itself, but more importantly, your opponent special summons a monster, or you actually do it for them. You special summon their monster and they send the other one, which would work with Queen because they special summon a monster, which helps because then you can make them send a monster. You're basically just getting rid of their stuff. Evil Dragon. Banish all the monsters you control, or all the reptiles I should say that you control, and all the ones in your graveyard, and this gains 600 attack and defense for each. So you special summon this out, and you're going to get rid of anything you got in the graveyard or on the field, and he will gain 600 per. So this guy could be pretty strong. Essentially, you're just going to use this as either pitch fodder for your trade-in, or you're going to save this as a last ditch of F. Like, oh man, I got no choice, got nothing on the board, they're screwing me. I guess I'll banish my graveyard and just get the attack in. And actually, his other effect is, once per turn during your end phase, target one card on the field and destroy that target. So, not horrible, you know what I mean? But you're definitely not going to use him unless you have to. This one, you can't special summon it by other monsters' effects, but you got plenty of spells that can bring reptile monsters out of the grave. When this card, or he's going to gain 500 for each reptile in your graveyard. When this card is destroyed by battle, you can banish a reptile from your graveyard and bring him right back. So, there's that part. Now, I don't have my Chaos Creator yet. It's not here, so I'm actually running 2 Chaos Dragon. But picture this as 1 Black Luster, 1 Chaos Creator, and 1 Chaos Dragon Levianeer. Reason being, they all special summon themselves by banishing, you know, light and or dark monsters, blah blah blah. They're really good. They're, you know, all 3,000. They all got pretty good effects. So it's nice to have the chaos in here. We have 2 Nibiru, just as, you know, good old light monsters to get rid of at the same time, because we do run chaos space. So if you want to use this on your opponent but if it's not going to work out because they don't do that much summoning, then just pitch it off of chaos space and get something else. 3 of the Water Lily, send a reptile from your deck to the graveyard. If you have 5 or more, you can special summon one of them. You could get this guy if you want, if you had so much in the graveyard, whatever. You can do lots of cool stuff. You're going to definitely run 3 of these. We got the 2 Ogdoadic Origin. I'm kind of tempted to maybe just bump this down to 1 because I can search it out, you know, with, what is it, the Naya, I'm sorry, it's Naya. Naya, you can search, you know, Ogdoadic cards, if you will, and I don't know if this is necessary at 2, but, you know, if it really starts to get annoying, I will drop it down. I was tempted to just run a terraforming in this, but I think if I do that, I will put terraforming, 1 of these, and then 1 Mystic Mine, or, you know, some other field spell. I'm not going to run 2 of these if I do a terraforming. Obviously, we're running 3 Snake Rain because, come on now, it's, you know, Snake Rain. You're going to run 3. We got 3 Chaos Space because every monster in this deck is light and or dark. So, light and dark. 2 Trade In. That's all you need. We got 2 Super Poly. They're all dark. I mean, what are you going to do? You got to run it. We got 3 Ogdoadic Calling. 3 because this special summons 2 Ogdoadic tokens, Reptile Dark level 2, or if you have 8 or more Ogdoadic monsters with different names, you can apply this effect. Instead, special summon 2 with different names from your graveyard. So, okay. Here's my thinking, right? You have to tribute monsters to bring out your monsters from the graveyard, right? In most cases, you're going to be tributing to get them out. You could easily end phase of your opponent, like, you know, you go first, you make your board, you go back and forth, your opponent destroys some crap, blah blah blah. Maybe they're going to attack you direct and you know they got game, bam, bring out the 2 tokens in defense, you get to live another turn. Or if you don't have to worry about that, end phase, pop this, get the 2 tokens, next turn, draw your card, activate the effect, tribute the 2 tokens, here comes the queen, yada yada yada. Yeah, I'm going to run 3 of these. I want those tokens. I want to tribute those tokens away. And then we got a Alien Brain and Offering. Offering is going to be mainly like, you know, your opponent targets your monster to pop. You can chain this, target your own monster, and then, you know, in 2 cards your opponent controls, destroy all 3. Mainly what you're doing there is just your card would already be what? Banished, sent, whatever. Especially banished. Hell no, you ain't banishing my card. I'll destroy it before you get the chance. I'm also taking 2 of your cards with me, you know? That's the mentality behind running this. Alien Brain. When a reptile monster your opponent, or when a monster you control, when a reptile type monster you control is destroyed by battle, when opponents attack a monster and sent to the graveyard, take control of your opponent's monster, and if you do, it becomes a reptile. You know, I would hate to see it, but if you could, you know, maybe try to do this and they, you know, Dragoon it, and then they attack you, you know what? Alien Brain. You destroyed my monster. I'm taking your Dragoon and I'm turning it into a reptile. Thanks. Or whatever you want to take. Kind of wish I had 2 of these, to be honest. I only have 1, but, you know, destroy my monster by battle and I get to take yours, non-targeting, just take it. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll take it. That's it for the main deck, 40 cards. Like I said, I wish I had hand destruction in here, just that way, you know, you could do whatever you want, and then hand destruction, throw away your cards, draw some more. It's a pretty good card for this deck, because you want everything in the graveyard anyway. As for the extra deck, we got 14 in here, so there's one spot, definitely put something in there. You know, I didn't know, I didn't want to do a full 15. At this point, I'm kind of like, you know what, 14 plus something, probably an extra, you know, maybe put an Appaloosa in, maybe put a Boral Swords, something generically strong, put it in. Reproductive. You're only going to use this guy when either you want to put stuff in the graveyard or you have an opponent's monster in one of the zones that you can put in the extra monster zone, pointing at your opponent's monster, and it's not already dark. Then you can change it dark and then use Super Poly to get rid of them. So it's kind of how this is going to work out. Reptilian Echinata. You're going to run, well, I run 2 of these. This is actually a pretty incredible card. Gets you reptile cards, makes your opponent's monsters, you know, 0 attack, 1 per turn, but whatever, you know, if you go a couple turns turning monsters to 0 and you don't get a chance to destroy them, you're just going to gain more effect off her because that's how her effect works. Most likely you're going to destroy the shit out of that thing. Now, Alien Shock Trooper, though, this card's pretty cool. 2 reptiles make them. Quick effect, you can discard a monster, place counters equal to its original level on face-up monsters on the field. So if you pitch a level 4, you put 4 counters out there, distribute them as you wish, cool. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon non-link reptile monsters with different names from your graveyard up to the number of monsters your opponent controls with counters. You give all their monsters counters, they destroy this thing, and you're gonna rein in all the beautifulness of that. Unicorn, Boral Sword, King of the Feral Imps. That's a 2 of, because once per turn you can detach and add a reptile monster from your deck to your hand. So clearly that's going to happen. Plus 2300 attack. Don't mind if I do. This guy, though, I don't run the package where, you know, you can go into, Harbinger, and you go into Dragublion, and then you go into, you know, number 100, and, you know, you can OTK, not OTK, first turn? No, yeah, it is OTK, 1 turn, whatever. You can just straight bounce your opponent off the face of the earth in 1 turn pretty easily, but I don't run that one. I could, but then I'd have to re-sleeve a couple cards, and I don't really want to do that. Also, I kind of like the way this would run, because you can go into this, right? Gains 100 for each monster in the graveyards, which is pretty good. Once per turn, you can detach material from this card until the end of your opponent's next turn. This card cannot be destroyed by card effects. Also, neither player can special summon monsters from the graveyards. You do this on the end phase, and then you don't have to worry about it, because for your opponent's turn, they can't special summon from the graveyards. It's pretty nice. As long as you don't have that alien card out there, you could always do this one instead. This one is just, you know, take 2 monsters, make them, then you can negate your opponent's stuff. When a spell or trap or a monster effect is activated, detach, negate the activation. 2 Zeus, because, you know, Feral Imp is nice, but once you get the draw, or once you get the search, and then you attack with them, Zeus is kind of the next best step. And then 2 Starving Venom for the 2 super polys we play. Like I said, it's only 14. There's also 1 spot in here to do anything with. You could always drop Reproductive and drop 1 of these, and then you'd have 3 spots. Then you could run Harbinger, Dragublion, and then, you know, the number 100 Dragon, and there you have it. You could do your shenanigans that way too. So it's not that hard to put that build in with this one, but yeah, that is the Ogdoadic deck. It's pretty damn good, I'm not gonna lie. It's got some spots where it could use, you know, a little bit, but for the most part it does some pretty good shenanigans. I just got to get a little better at it, you know, for choosing who to bring out when. That's my only thing, but I haven't played this deck a lot, so I'll get there. But already it's pretty good. Can't wait to get that, the creator, Chaos Creator. Once I get that card, I think I'll be pretty happy with this build. Because I've got my room for side deck stuff, you know? I can easily drop out these 4 and switch these 2 for something else. That's 6 spots right there that I can kind of 3 Ash and 3 Droll or 3 Lancia. Like, I know what I'm taking out when I want to side other stuff in. But yeah, that's going to be it. So, thanks for coming. Like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. And Yugi thanks you. I know he looks pissed right there, but he's just so darn happy. That's what he is. Alright, man. Later.